Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. We'll have a bit of a chat about what's breaking in the news about Spain today, both in the Spanish press and international press. We'll try and find some stories of interest while I record here in one of my favorite locations here close to where I live. It's a beautiful day, around 18, 19 degrees currently, getting up to around 22 or 23 degrees Celsius, I believe, but we do have the effect of the Kalima. And if you're not familiar with the concept of the Kalima, basically it's a red dust storm, I believe, that when it rains drops this red dust all over the place. But it's not raining currently, but there is Kalima in the air, and according to the weather forecast, the air quality is fair, but it has been bad for the last couple of days, air quality, because of this Kalima, which obviously picks up dust in the north of Africa and then brings it to Spain, and that's what we have currently here. But it's worse in other parts of the country. So what are some of the stories dominating the international press today about Spain? Well, it's all about Carles Puigdemont and the fact that he announced yesterday that he is going to run for Catalan president in the elections on the 12th of May, elections that have been called for Catalonia, and this has really thrown a spanner in the works as far as politics is concerned in Spain, and also as far as politics is concerned in Catalonia, because nobody knows what the Puigdemont effect will be. Now, if you're not familiar with Mr. Puigdemont, he has been living outside of Spain for the last 6 years or so, going on to 7 years now, because he left the country in around 2017, I think, and he's been living in exile in Belgium, because obviously the Spanish justice system is after him, because he was the main man behind that illegal Catalan referendum back in 2017. And of course, the Spanish justice system came down hard on people involved in that illegal referendum. Some people went to jail, as we know. Some people were fined a lot of money, but Mr. Puigdemont escaped the country, went into exile, or, as I like to say, he became a fugitive from Spanish justice. And the question now is, will he come back to Spain anytime soon? Or will he run for the president of Catalonia from Belgium or from France, where he has no problems being? But of course, if he steps back on Spanish soil, he could be arrested, and that's what he's worried about. So there's all of these scenarios around currently of how Mr. Puigdemont is going to come back to Spain, if he comes back to Spain anytime soon. He's waiting for the amnesty law to kick in, and hopefully judges won't put out an arrest warrant for him. It's a little bit unclear what's going on at the moment, so I can't really fill you guys in any better than that. And some people have been asking, what is Mr. Puigdemont's party? What do they stand for? All I can say is that I'm not an expert on the topic, but critics of Mr. Puigdemont's party, the Junts per Catalonia party, call it a xenophobic party, a supremacist party, and a political party that discriminates against people that are not from Catalonia. Basically, this party is on the right side of politics. Some people could argue that it's centre-right, but some people have called this party far-right, given their stance on some topics, for example, immigration. They are an anti-immigration party. In fact, they blame immigration for destroying Catalonia and blame the Spanish government for trying to make Catalonia more Spanish, if that makes sense. But the critics, as I said, of Mr. Puigdemont and his political party would label it the far right. So what's going to happen in these elections with Mr. Puigdemont as a candidate? Well, again, nobody knows, but according to the latest polls, the Socialist Party in Catalonia is in front currently. Second in the polls is a party called ERC, the Catalonian Republican Left. Some could also label that party the extreme left. And third in the polls currently is the Junts Party, led by Carles Puigdemont, followed by the PP, then Vox, and then some other political parties. So not really clear what's going to happen, but some people are worried that Mr. Puigdemont could cause trouble again, like he did back in 2017. His supporters can get a little bit radical at times, and that's what some people are worried about, that Mr. Puigdemont could again cause trouble in Catalonia if his supporters decide to become radical like they were in the past, and that could stir things up. The central government, led by Pedro Sanchez, is currently sending out mixed messages. Nobody really knows what the Puigdemont effect will have, but this is the Socialist Party's doing. The return of Mr. Puigdemont and all of the possible scenarios are the result of the Socialist Party led by Pedro Sanchez doing whatever it can to hold on to power and bringing Mr. Puigdemont back into mainstream Spanish politics. That's where we're at. But as I always say, time will tell what the effect of Mr. Puigdemont running in these elections will be. Will it be positive? I don't know. Will it be negative? I don't know, for both Catalonia and Spain. But remember, Catalonia is one of Spain's 17 autonomous communities currently, and let's be honest, I think it always will be, but I could be wrong. Now, the second piece of news that is dominating international press today about Spain is about Luis Rubiales. You might remember Mr. Rubiales. He was the guy that smacked a kiss on one of the players, a non-consensual kiss on one of the players after the World Cup victory of the Spanish team last year in Sydney, I think it was. And of course, that kissing scandal was one of those things that went on and on and on and on, and unfortunately took the spotlight away from the victory of that football team in that World Cup. Now he's back in the press again, and this time, as we can read here in the New York Times, Luis Rubiales, former Spanish soccer chief, faces arrest. Mr. Rubiales, who resigned after kissing a player at the Women's World Cup, is a focus of Spanish investigators looking into accusations of corruption and money laundering. It goes on to say Luis Rubiales, the disgraced former Spanish soccer head who was forced out after kissing a female player against her will, faces new legal troubles after the Spanish police were given permission to arrest him as part of a wide-ranging investigation into accusations of corruption and money laundering. But as fate would have it, as this investigation by Spain's Guardia Civil kicked off, Mr. Rubiales is not in the country. He's currently in the Dominican Republic. Nobody knows why he's there. Is he there on holiday, or is he there because he has business dealings in that country with all of the money that allegedly has gone missing from this organization? Now, this is a very dodgy organization, apparently. The former person in charge of this organization, the Spanish Football Federation, also had some serious allegations leveled at him regarding corruption. Don't think he ever ended up in prison, but there were some serious allegations thrown around at the time. And of course, this man here, Mr. Rubiales, seems to be the cream of the crop as far as corruption is concerned. Again, I'll throw in the word alleged corruption. Now, it's fairly clear for the majority of people here in Spain that Mr. Rubiales is the type of person that you don't want to have over to a dinner party. He's the typical type of machista, loudmouth person, but these type of people end up in important positions in this country, and subsequently we have these corruption scandals come to light. And this is just another example of how rife corruption is in this country. If we see politicians throwing accusations around every day here about corruption, whether it's the Socialist Party, whether it's the opposition party, whether it's another political party, these corruption scandals are never far away. And of course, they go deep, unfortunately, into other organizations here in Spain. For example, the Spanish Football Federation. So shameful what is going on here currently. So we'll see if Mr. Rubiales makes it back to Spain, if he is arrested like people are saying that he will be, or whether he decides to stay in the Dominican Republic or perhaps go to another place where there's no extradition laws with Spain. Again, time will tell. And the final piece of news we'll look at today, something that has popped up in my feed here from the Express and the Star newspaper, and as can be expected, another negative story about Spain. Let's click on it and have a look what the headline is. Here we go. Spain travel warning. UK tourists issued holiday warning as 10 more beaches in Spain impose ban affecting holidaymakers. UK holidaymakers have been issued a Spain travel warning as more Spanish beaches have imposed the ban ahead of summer. So what is this ban, I hear you asking? I'm also curious to find out the answer too. Let's have a look. 10 more beaches in Spain have imposed a ban that will impact holidaymakers this summer. The beaches have joined a growing campaign and banned people from smoking on their shores. Spain now has 50 smoke-free beaches in the Balearics alone. The three major holiday islands of Mallorca, Menorca and Ibiza are cracking down on the unhealthy habit, with signs being placed on beaches across the coast. Now, maybe it's just me, but I think that banning smoking on beaches is actually a good idea, because there's nothing worse than going to a beach that is littered with cigarette butts. A couple of years ago, there was a beach in Spain, I think it was in Alicante, Valencia somewhere, Alicante I think was the province, and they found literally millions of cigarette butts under the sand. Volunteers cleaned the sand and they were amazed by the amount of cigarette butts. So what people do, they go to the beach, they spend all day there with a packet of smokes, smoking away into the sand, and away they go. People that couldn't give a stuff for the environment or other people that are going to have to use that beach. The article continues, tourists and locals alike will have to follow the rules. According to the Spanish press, the aim of the campaign is to prevent smoking in natural spaces, promote healthy habits and clamp down on litter caused by discarded cigarette butts. So again, I can only see positive news in this story. What about you? In fact, I would take this ban further and prohibit smoking in outdoor seating areas at bars and restaurants also. But that's just me, because there's nothing worse than watching people smoke and then throw those cigarette butts on the ground. Again, people that don't give a stuff. So although this article in the Express and the Star comes across a little bit sensationalist, I actually think it's a good idea. And if you are planning to come to Spain this summer and you are a smoker, follow the rules and don't smoke on the beach. That would be my advice. Now, on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego from a decent day here in Madrid. Bye-bye.